Really early in my career, I remember feeling stuck in a job. For quite some time, I had been the superstar, I felt challenged and fulfilled, and I had worked my way up through the organization. But over time, I became frustrated. The majority of my work days started to be about things I didn't enjoy, my performance suffered, I was certainly no longer the golden child, and my career progression started to stall. And as my frustration increased, I started to fantasize more and more about leaving. I just needed to get out of there. I needed to leave. Surely anything would be better than this. So I took the first opportunity that came my way. And it was better for a short time, and then it wasn't. And a lot of people make the same mistake I made. They think that if they are just somewhere else, all of their problems are going to be resolved. You may even be feeling like that right now. Now, when I look back on my experience and when I talk to others who have gone through something similar, I now clearly see the common problems that come from this way of thinking. The first thing is that I thought I was going to just land in the perfect job. But the reality is, no job is perfect. It's easy to see a shiny new opportunity and assume that it will solve all of your problems. But the reality is that making a move like this, especially out of desperation, just lands you with an entirely different set of issues. The second challenge is that I took my own problems with me. And yes, a lot of my dissatisfaction was due to things that were inherent to the organization, but I absolutely contributed to some of them, like working too many hours, for example. When I changed companies, a lot of the external things changed, but I was still the same person. Same person, same problems. The third issue is that I fell victim to this all or nothing thinking. At that point, I couldn't even see that there might be other options besides staying exactly where I was or making a dramatic change. Now, later in my career, I was in a similar situation, but this time I handled it much, much differently. The first thing is that I realized that the company and job I was in weren't bad at all. It was just that we didn't quite fit in the same way anymore. I was also able to be more honest with myself about which challenges were thrust upon me and which ones I was causing or making worse for myself. I decided to see if there was an opportunity to make some shifts in the way that I was doing things where I was. I asked for help. I talked to people. I brainstormed the kind of tasks that I could take on that would be more aligned with my interests and that also supported the growth of the organization. And I ended up staying there for several more years in a career that grew and shifted in amazing ways that I never could have predicted. Now, as humans, we love the idea of a fresh start, and it's easy to believe that the grass is greener somewhere else, so we jump into the unknown. And you don't know what might exist in your new environment, but I guarantee that it's going to have its own pros and cons. So starting from that assumption, rather than just deciding between staying and going, that lets you use an entirely different thought process when you're making decisions about what is next for you. You can now be a little more objective. You can be much more creative, and you can see many more of the opportunities that lie in front of you. Because in most cases, there is no black and white decision to be made. In most cases, the best path lies somewhere in the gray zone. So I'm curious if you have ever fallen for black and white thinking when gray might have been better. I'd love to hear about it in the comments.